Okay, well, thank you for being here in a very extraordinary, really, frankly, unbelievable time that we're all experiencing. So we called you all here this hour to let you know that as the county's chief administrative officer, through the powers that are afforded me by the Board of Supervisors, I'm declaring a local emergency here in Kern County due to the coronavirus pandemic's potential effect on our residents, our own county workforce, and our economy. Working with our fire chief, I'm authorizing the activation of our Emergency Operations Center to a level 1, which is its most basic operation, really from a communication standpoint. This is going to ensure our response to the needs of our community, as well as the continuity of communication across our large 8,000 square mile county. Additionally, starting tonight at 5 p.m., all county departments are being directed to move to essential staffing only plans. They will be asked to do so and operate under those plans until April 14th. Employees who are deemed non-essential during this time are asked to stay home, to not travel, and to remain available to report to duty if and when called upon. All county employees, no matter what level or what position they're in, are disaster services workers and sworn to the duty of that. All employees will be in paid status during this extraordinary time. Where possible, employees will have access to work-related email where they are asked to stay active and available. Also, beginning tomorrow, our county's buildings will be closed to the public until April 14th. There will be exceptions to this, and those exceptions will be where absolute essential services are being provided. And for a full list of closures and other questions that county residents may have, they can visit kerncounty.com. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
How long and how difficult was it given what other counties have already done?
I'm not aware of any other counties doing this. There may have been other counties that have done it, but as of today, I don't think I had read or heard anything about other counties doing it. Maybe Sonoma. I know Long Beach has done some things on facility closure, but you know, we have been in contact with our public health director, obviously with public health officials at the state. We've done quite a few things last week. We've canceled gatherings of 250 people or more at indoor and outdoor non-essential functions at various county facilities. We also canceled countywide at all county departments large meetings or really semi-large meetings with the public. Anything that could be done by phone or teleconference or anything else, we were asking all of our county departments to do that. We canceled all programming at the library, et cetera. So this was really the next step. I think one of the big catalysts for us in this was the closure of the school district across Kern County. That's a heck of a lot of kids that aren't going to be in school, affecting a heck of a lot of families and parents, a lot of whom are within our workforce. So that, coupled with the fact that we are wanting to avoid, you know, mass outages of our workforce due to transmission of coronavirus within the workforce. We want to do everything that we can to protect our employees. It's not just about the interaction that our employees have with the public every day, but it's the interaction with each other. We've got 8,000 employees here. I think we're, the last I checked, the biggest or one of the biggest employers in Kern County. So just taking care of our workforce and thinking through how we're going to do that requires some thought, and I'm just proud of all of our department heads. We were on the phone with them today at 1 o'clock, getting prepared. Everybody's been working closely together, and really this is the next step in the evolution of really uncharted territory here.
How does the county expect this local state of
Well, I think this was really, again, this is focused on our workforce. I think people are concerned, and rightly so, about how this pandemic may impact them. I think that they are concerned about having their kids out of school for a month will impact them. This is going to fall disproportionately on some of the folks who are struggling the most in our society here in our county. I think people are really concerned, and I would put right up there in my top concerns about our local economy, what this is going to do to our local folks. We had a directive to cut in half the capacity at our local restaurants and close bars and things. If you want to put those folks out of business, that's the way to do it. Those folks are operating, those restaurateurs are operating right on the margins, and they are struggling, having family members in the restaurant business. They struggle every month most of them anyway, to run the business, pay employees, et cetera. So these are, again, uncharted waters, trying times, extraordinary times, and I think our residents should be concerned. I don't think they should be panicking. We have not to date, and I was just on the phone with our public health director not too long ago. Unless something's changed in the last hour, we haven't had any positive tests results on coronavirus here in our community. So with that, we're again taking the step to make sure our workforce is protected and to make sure our county has a continuity of operations plan in place, and that we are focused on serving the residents of our community in this time of need. And we are available. Information can be accessed on, again, kerncounty.com. There'll be a list of phone numbers on our website that you can call. And again, we're asking, all of our residents to use their head. If you can stay home, stay home. Wash your hands. Don't go to a great big concert. Stay home with your kids, read them some books, play with some Legos, watch Star Wars. The brand new movie's just out on pay-per-view. I watched it last night with my son. Do those kinds of things for the time being. And that would be, I think, smart. Any other questions?
Is the county put any thought to ordering businesses closed, like bars or restaurants, if they had to?
We're not doing that at this time. What we're doing again is really this announcement is really geared toward our large workforce and making sure that we have a continuity of service planning in place to continue the business that the county does. Most of the work that we do on a daily basis has a either direct or indirect nexus to serving during this time and serving populations that may be dealing with this pandemic. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to be prepared and we're able to serve, but at the same time, we want to make sure our workforce is, we thin it out to the extent that we can, that they're protected to the extent that we can protect them. And hopefully we can all come back in April and get back to work, and this thing has passed on, and we see that it's in a decline. Yeah, I think all of our county workers are aware of what they're getting into when they come to the county. They're public servants, they're disaster services workers. The work that we do, I would make an argument that all county workers are essential to some extent or another. This particular time and in this time that we're in, where we're trying to thin out the county's workforce, hunker down to deal with the threat of the pandemic. We're simply taking people offline, getting them home that don't need to be on the front lines of dealing with this. Residents can be assured that if they have an emergency, they can call 911. They're going to get fire service. They're going to get sheriff's service. There are other services if you are, in the building industry and you have to submit plans and get permits and those things. There will be provisions and ways to do that. That will be set up in order to make that happen. There will be a full list of these activities that will be put on kerncounty.com, and we encourage all the residents in our community to visit there. It'll be front and center. You won't miss it, and you can look through and find out what's open and what's closed.
Okay, so according to my understanding, the CDC had mentioned or had asked people to not gather in groups of 50. Today, the administration asked people for groups of 10
Yeah.
to keep that limitation. You guys are placing this measure for county employees. Why is that measure not being implemented for local restaurants?
Well, I think the governor and his public health team recommended that be the case. So the recommendation's out there. I think restaurants are going to, do what they can. I think they're all interested in trying to slow this thing down. We are not today closing restaurants and bars and everything else. We are.
What would it take for you guys to take that step?
We're not taking that step today, and I don't know. I think that's a better question for our public health director. We're staying in close contact with him, and depending on how he sees things and what he thinks needs to be implemented as a matter of public policy in our community, he's going to give his advice. The Board of Supervisors will be hearing directly from him tomorrow here at the board meeting. The board will we will have a special agenda item for them to consider tomorrow morning. It's going to be a ratification of the declaration that I'm making today, and we will have a discussion at that time, a full discussion about the status of the coronavirus in our community. You'll hear from our public health director, who's the expert on this locally. He'll answer questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm talking about today and what we're doing for our workforce, but those are questions really, I think, better suited for him rather than me, if you don't mind.
That's okay. Another question, while employees are gone, will you guys be taking any measures to clean the buildings, the county buildings where they currently work?
Yes, we will.
What are those measures?
Well, I think we do a pretty good job. I mean, this is a high traffic building. We try to do a good job at making sure our buildings are clean, disinfected, so that we're not spreading any virus in any normal time of year. I think that we're going to work with our general services department to implement some sort of extraordinary and probably more rigorous cleaning schedule, given just where, the status of where we are with this. Obviously, not having people or very few people coming in and out of these buildings is a big step in the right direction of limiting, what's available to touch and be infected by, et cetera.
Will the county continue to count votes?
Yes, yeah. As you know, we have an independently elected auditor controller elections person. She will do what she can to have limited staff, but vote counting continues. That work continues, and I think we have assurances from her as recently as an hour ago that that's going to continue.
Now, you mentioned that as of right now, you guys are activating a level 1 emergency.
Yeah.
What sets apart a level 1 from emergency?
So I don't know exactly what sets apart. Level 1 is the activation status, and there may be people, ma'am, that you might talk to on the way out to get an answer to that are sitting in the audience here. But level 1 is just a basic operation. It will, what it means is we will be there from 8 to 5, sort of normal business hours. It won't be, the whole cavalry there sitting over there and, all the different, it won't be like the 7.1 magnitude earthquake that we had. We will have a staff. That staff will be focused on communications continuity. So I think there'll be a strong group of public information officers there They'll be communicating with municipalities across the county. They'll be communicating with departments and folks like yourself, just maintaining, making sure that you're aware of the current status. We may be using that platform and that venue for future public health briefings on the status of the virus in our community. But I hope that answers your question. It's kind of just a basic level 1 opening. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
You said there are roughly 8,000 employees that work for the county and some people that are non-essential. Do you have a rough number of people that will be at that?
I don't, but it will be the vast majority of our employees. And then keep in mind, this is an extraordinary time, an extraordinary measure that we are taking. We are evaluating what's needed now during this time, and we are going to, out of an abundance of caution and concern for the potential impacts, we are going to send as many people within our workforce home until April 14th. Again, we're providing opportunities for them where they exist. Obviously, some people don't have internet access. Some people don't have computers, but most people do. Our employees have the ability to access their email. Lots of work is done over the computer, over email. But
That don't have access.
yeah,
How are you guys working to provide that?
we're not right now. Yeah, we are focused on other things, and I've got a tack stuck in that Post-it note on the wall. But we will. Those are things that we will deal with. Actually, internet access across this county is a big problem, frankly, if you ask me. It's important to have prioritization on ensuring as many people across this county have access to the internet as possible, in my opinion. And that is something that we need to work on. It's not something that needs to be an issue here, but just as an aside, that's something that we need to do a better job on as a county going forward.
So those without the access, they won't be able to really complete much of the work besides access to their email?
Correct. But they will be at home. Tomorrow, this is effective tonight at 5 o'clock, which means it will be in effect tomorrow morning. Are there any other questions from anybody? Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.